Hello, friends. Welcome back. 2025 is just zooming by. The days just go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And I don't know what to think about it. February is typically the shortest month of the year. This year, it just seemed like the longest month in history. And I don't know, some of that was the weather, and some of that was just things coming and going and other stuff I had going on, and I just trying to wait out the weather. But the next thing I knew, March had flown by, and now we're most of the way through April. So I'm going to try to get caught up on some of the news that I wanted to report on. I'm going to avoid politics for the foreseeable future because it's all just so depressing, and it's frankly the same thing over and over again. After the ambush on Zelensky in the Oval Office, it just depressed me so much, and the MAGA regime has went mask off, pro-Putin, pro-Russia. I just pulled out of politics, and I dip my toe in every once in a while when I see a real clickbaity video, but I'm really trying not to get all bent out of shape about a lot of that stuff because there's just not a lot I can do about it except for talk about it in videos, and that has kind of got me scared because now they're disappearing people, and he's basically came out and said that they'll disappear American citizens, and for several reasons I'm kind of vulnerable to that kind of thing that I won't go into, but there's been some positive notes. The protests and the economic downturn of Tesla and Elon Musk losing about $1 billion worth of $100 billion worth of his net worth is kind of encouraging. The town halls of people speaking up to their representatives is good. Bernie and AOC are out there just canvassing the country and making people aware of what's going on. It's just holding the front line as best we can till we get some of these other Democrats to grow a spine and do something and make people aware. We can turn things around in the midterms if we can make people aware enough about what's going on. But that gives me a little bit of a hope. But the big picture, we're still at the beginning. We're only 4 months in, 3 months in, and we've got about 45 months to go before we can really get out of this catastrophe. So and then they're also doubling down on him having a third term and him going back and forth on the tariffs. Everything's going to get a whole lot more expensive. So I'm just not going to talk about it after this for a little while. We're going to talk about some fun stuff. And February and March, kind of sort of award show season. And though I think it's kind of funny watching celebrities break their arms, patting themselves on their backs, it's also kind of good fodder for some entertainment. January 30th, they had the FireAid event in 2 venues in Los Angeles to bring some aid to the victims of the LA fires. And there were several noteworthy things that happened there. Good performances by Olivia Rodrigo, Lady Gaga, Billie Eilish, Katy Perry, Stevie Nicks, who had an awesome story about her house getting saved. It was right in the line of the fire, and somehow she thinks her little voodoo magic just kept the fire from burning her house down. And it's an old 100-year-old house that's got a lot of history in LA. So that's kind of good that she didn't lose her house. You had Anderson .Paak, Dr. Dre, and Sheila E. performing together. You had the Black Crowes, John Fogerty, and Slash performing together. And a reunion of No Doubt after their reunion from however long it's been, 20 years since they played together at Coachella last year. Reuniting again for this benefit. But the big one that everybody was talking about was the Nirvana with Dave Grohl, Pat Smear, and Chris Novoselic playing with a bevy of really awesome female frontmen, which Kurt would have loved, especially the ones that they had. St. Vincent started it off with Breed, and they ended it with All Apologies with Dave Grohl's daughter Violet singing, and also Joan Jett and Kim Gordon performing, which Kurt would have fallen over himself to see Kim Gordon sing one of his songs. So that was super, super awesome. We also had the Grammys in February. And usually I don't really care about award shows. Like I said, it's just kind of celebrities patting themselves on the back. And but this year it represented one of the better years that we've had in pop music in recent times. It was a bit long. Trevor Noah is kind of an odd choice for host. He was kind of corny, but there's some really good performances. Dawes was a band that lost their house. They're kind of an indie rock band that never normally would have got a chance to ever see the Grammy stage, but they performed I Love LA by Randy Newman, which was originally kind of a scathing take on LA, but the sentiment was cool. You also had Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. Instead of performing their big Die With A Smile song, they did California Dreamin', which was super cool. Really good performances by Chappell Roan, Shakira, and Charlie XCX. Other noteworthy things were Benson Boone doing his little backflip off of the piano. It was kind of cool. I like him a lot. And then he's wearing that one-piece jumpsuit thing, so his there's also him little adjusting his big old hog at one point. Probably not safe for work. The Grammys was also a sort of the mainstream introduction to rapper Doechii, who won the Best Rap Album. She's only the third female to win Best Rap Album, which I think she deserves all the hype she's getting. She's going to blow up next year. There was a Quincy Jones tribute that was sort of mid, I guess. Janelle Monáe doing a kind of a Michael Jackson thing, and Stevie Wonder singing We Are the World by himself. I don't know why anybody else didn't come out and sing it with him. It's kind of, like I said, it's kind of mid. Other takeaways from the Grammys. I'm already sick of Sabrina Carpenter. I hope because she kind of fades away after this summer. She's going to have a big summer, I'm sure. She's got songs on the charts still, but kind of over it. And I'm kind of over Taylor Swift. I hope she's ready to take a huge, huge break. Maybe she'll get married and whatever, fade away for a little while. She was there to give away the album of the year, which is what makes me think a lot of this is all just rigged anyway, because of course she's going to give away the best album because she's won it 4 times, and Jay-Z made a big deal about Beyonce never winning album of the year. And who does she give it to? Beyonce. Cowboy Carter. I'm glad it broke down some barriers this year, but it's just not very good. Anyway, Kendrick won 5 awards. Charlie XCX took away 3 awards. St. Vincent took away 3 awards. She's so awesome. Gojira won Metal Performance of the Year for their Olympics performance of Mea Culpa. That's so amazing. And in the year 2025, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones both took away Grammys. How weird is that? Another huge takeaway was Chappell Roan and Lady Gaga both pointing out trans people's awareness, and in the light of some of the things that this administration is doing to eliminate trans people from the world, essentially, I think that's really great. Moving on to the Oscars. I think the Oscars have been kind of a joke for a while. Conan O'Brien was a great host. He did some funny little skits, and he's a good choice for hosts. He's kind of weird and funny and brings a light to the stuffy ceremony of the Oscars. I don't really watch a lot of new movies, so I can't really get into it too much because I watch it. I'm just like, I've never heard of any of these movies. We're in a weird place where we're like sort of in a post Marvel world, but we still haven't gotten back to actual really good filmmaking. And most of the really good filmmaking is coming from foreign directors, and I don't know what to think of the film industry right now. They lose a lot of money, and anyway, Adrian Brody won his 2nd Oscar. He's one of only 8 living actors to have 2 Oscars. And his speech was a little egregious and self-serving. It's the longest running speech in Oscar history at 5 minutes and 37 seconds. And it was kind of rude. At some point, they started playing the music to play him off, and he told them to cut the music. I'm not going to take too much longer. And then he rambled and tried to fumble over who else to thank everybody, and take your stupid, like Ricky Gervais said at the Golden Globes a couple of years, take your silly award and fuck off. Anywho, there was a weird James Bond tribute in a year where there was no James Bond on the books to be coming out. We're in an era between James Bond. Daniel Craig's done with it, and we don't know what we're doing. They just had a big thing where they sold the property to Amazon. So they don't know if there's going to be more movies or if there's going to be TV shows like what they did to ruin the Star Wars stuff. There's going to be a whole slew of spin-off television shows. I know there's a Moneypenny spin-off television show. Of course, Amazon can put it on their little streaming service. So that's the way I think that it's going to go. It's going to be a bunch of lame-ass spin-off television shows. We'll probably have a Q spin-off, and then the early years, James Bond, the early years, or I don't know what they're going to do, but tribute to James Bond in a year that there's the James Bond legacy is kind of in limbo / turmoil. Was kind of a bad idea. They also had a Quincy Jones tribute at the Oscars, which was nothing really to speak of. But there also was no David Lynch tribute at the Oscars, which is totally not good. That should have been the most important thing that happened at the Oscars this year, was David Lynch. My God. Anywho, in other news that we can cover real quick, Brett Hind, guitarist for Mastodon, has quit, and seems to be sort of mutual. There was some controversy for a second, like what happened, and one of the guys has a black eye, so they thought maybe they'd gotten in a fight. And Brett Hind is kind of confrontational and obtuse, I guess you could say, and is prone to instigating fights with other bands. And but it doesn't seem to be the case. He made a statement that he just doesn't really like metal too much, and at one point said he would rather be framing houses than being on tour. And I think he's just burnt out. You don't stay in a band for 25 years and not like the music you're playing. I think he's just burnt out. He doesn't want to tour anymore, and they've got huge plans to be touring. And apparently they've got an album on the way. So we'll have to wait and see if Brent is on it, or if they're going to do it as a 3-piece or what. But they didn't cancel any shows. They immediately, within a week or two after he announced that he was quitting, they played the Tool thing in Live in the Sand or whatever it was. And they had YouTuber Ben Eller fill in on guitar and vocals, and that's pretty amazing. As a YouTuber, he's one of my guitar YouTube guys that I watch a lot, and he's so good. He's so good. And he's made videos over the years on how to play Mastodon riffs and stuff Mastodon does on the guitar. And so it's really awesome that he was able to fill in for them on that show. Other big news in the rock and heavy metal world is them announcing the Black Sabbath final show. And I was super excited about that when I first heard about it, but the more I learn about it, the more I lose interest. It looks like it's going to basically be just a huge tribute show. They made a big deal about how the last time the 4 original members played together was in 2000. Black Sabbath went on to play for the next decade or so, until they actually retired as a band in 2017. But the last time they had Bill Ward on drums was 2000, and they wanted to have one last show with all four members. But Bill Ward's health isn't the greatest, and Ozzy apparently can't even stand very well anymore. And who knows what his singing's like. I thought it was going to be a Black Sabbath show, like when they toured in 2000. But apparently it's going to be more of a tribute show. Tom Morello's arranging all these other stars to play, Zach Wilde and Jerry Cantrell, and the list is just unbelievable of the bands and the people that are going to play. So there's going to be some neat pairing of musicians playing and singing. I imagine Ozzy will probably only sing 3 or 4 songs at the most. That's probably how it's going to end up working out. We'll just have to see. Yeah. Oh, one more thing. They leaked the details of the Spinal Tap 2 movie, which is really awesome. After 40 years, we're going to get a Spinal Tap 2. They did an album in like 1990 something at the height of the hair metal stuff called Break Like the Wind, which was okay, but they didn't do any they didn't do a movie, or I think there was probably some promotional videos and stuff for all of that, but they didn't do a movie. So now we're going to get the second Spinal Tap movie, which picks up with the guys after 40 years. Tony Hedra, the guy that played their manager, Ian Faith, just passed away a few months ago. In the movie, Ian Faith passes away and wills his daughter a contract that calls for one more Spinal Tap performance, which is worthless because Spinal Tap isn't a big commodity anymore. But then it says a major musician. So I'm excited to find out who it's going to be in the movie. There's going to be all kinds of cameos because that's just how they do. But it says a major musician is caught on video goofing around on a Spinal Tap song at soundcheck. And somebody videos it and it goes viral, which brings interest back to the band, which is funny because that's something that's actually happening to a lot of people nowadays. But that makes a comeback for the Tap viable. So she has to travel around and gather each member, and try to convince them to come and play this final show. And not sure when it's actually going to be out, but that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm real excited to see that. And other than that, we got some more news, but I'm going to leave this video as not super long. But keep in touch. I'm going to have some more rock news coming up real soon.